Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. To maintain and manifest samadhi. Like light and shadow, permeating everywhere while staying still in samadhi. This was the power to silence everything. Zhou forcibly focused the heavenly writing's power before himself. There was no explosion of Blue Lotus, nor was there any reversing of the Blue Lotus's energy. Ninghan's heart sank. He cursed silently. When he looked up again, he saw the indifferent expression on Zhou's face. It's been a long time since I felt the touch of a punch. After saying this, Zhou punched his wizened hand at Ninghan. Boom. Ninghan, or General Ning, felt as though his arm had been punched with the force of 10,000 pounds as he flew back. No energy seal? How did he do that? How was it possible for a cultivator to unleash such great power with his physical strength alone without condensing qi into energy? Moreover, Zhou, in all appearances, was an old man. The others thought it was over when Zhou suddenly flew up and dove. He appeared in front of Ninghan at a great speed. Nobody noticed the blue light shining between his fingers. Boom. Zhou punched again. This time, it landed squarely on Ninghan's chest. General. The others, including Hua Chongyang, were stunned. Ninghan was a body cultivation elite. A cultivator like him was not talented in utilizing qi or condensing it into energy. Hence, he took the path of body cultivation. He wrapped his skin in energy while strengthening his body at the same time. He was a formidable foe in close-range combat. A person like him was great at taking punches. He was like a solid rock. Ninghan had lost all control when he was sent flying back. Zhou dove again. He moved faster than the speed Ninghan was sent flying. He punched again. Boom. The punch landed on Ninghan's chest again. All three punches were done in a single breath. He flew out of the heaven worship platform and crashed heavily onto the limestone floor. Zhou looked down at the crater. Based on this battle, he discovered his control over the extraordinary power had improved. He no longer needed to take down his target with a single hit. He was now more than capable of subduing his target using much less extraordinary power. On top of that, his cultivation base was now in the nascent divinity realm. The three punches collectively used a quarter of his extraordinary power. In total, he spent about 1/3 of his extraordinary power. According to his previous calculations, he would have needed 2/3 of his extraordinary power to achieve this, including killing Zhang Can and Jiangrani with the energy swords. At this moment, the platform was as silent as a graveyard. The members of the Hanku branch and Taishu Academy stood riveted to the ground in stunned silence. All of them gulped as they watched on. It was as though no one cared about Jiangrani and Zhang Can's deaths. The tidal waves of energy swords had long since minced the two of them to shreds. Hua Chongyang felt his heart race. Cold sweat trickled down his back. What a savage old man. To think that a body cultivator who was skilled in punches had lost in a punching match, and to an aged individual to boot. Who could defend his honor? He dared not move, afraid that a senior Lu was a petty person who took their previous misunderstandings to heart. He had no choice. It was not as though this situation was rare in the cultivation world. Let alone the fact that he had actually fought with the old man. In Great Yen, people had warred over offhanded remarks such as, "What are you looking at?" Inside the crater. Crash. Ninghan swiped the debris on him away. He stared at Zhou, who was hovering in the air. His dust-covered face and his dented chest clearly indicated that he was seriously wounded. He's still alive after 3 punches? Everyone else was surprised by Ninghan as well. He was too powerful. Ninghan raised a calloused hand and pointed at Zhou, who was looking down at him in the air. What a tough punch. He fought back the pain and spoke through gritted teeth. How did you do it? Lu Zhou stared at Ninghan for 3 seconds before speaking with a powerful voice. When you clench your hand into a fist, you'll notice that fate is in your hands. Ninghan spat out a mouthful of blood. His head lolled to the side. He was no longer breathing. His eyes remained opened. He was only a martial artist. How could he die in peace after hearing those words? Were they nonsense? Or were they the truth? As the saying went, the speaker had no particular intention when speaking, but the listener inferred his own meaning. Ding. Killed a target. Reward, 1,500 merit points. Hua Chongyang placed a hand on his chest and bowed at Lu Zhou. I'm enlightened seeing you win a fight with just 3 punches, Senior Lu. Despite his words, he was shuddering inwardly. Please don't be mad, old man. He lowered his head so that he would seem sincere, humble, and polite. This old man must be an 8-leaf cultivator. Lu Zhou ignored Hua Chongyang. Instead, he looked at the remaining mounted soldiers and the members of the Hanku branch and Taishu Academy. The 3 forces retreated. Lu Zhou had no intention of killing these people, but they were prepared to kill him just moments ago. Their cultivation bases were not profound. He would not earn many merit points by killing them. He would not gain much by killing them. As the 3 forces retreated, a huge flying chariot appeared in the horizons. Hundreds of cultivators could be seen flanking the flying chariot as it sailed. Cultivators incoming. Which sect? Hua Chongyang looked up. He frowned. The Penglai sect? There were umbrella patterns on the flying chariot's body. They were of varying sizes and bright colors. Groups of men and women were gathered at the helm. A huge flying chariot with such characteristics could only belong to the umbrella cultivators of the Penglai Islands Penglai sect. Hua Chongyang cursed inwardly. Senior Lu was a member of the Penglai sect. These were his people. It was practically impossible for him to take Miss Conk away now. The flying chariot was soon upon them. A voice rang from the helm, Brother Chongyang. Why are you here? Hua Chongyang was shocked. I'm exposed? What in tarnation? Hua Chongyang looked in the direction of the voice. Shen Liangshou? Hello? I. Hua Chongyang felt like crying. There was no need to fear a godly opponent, but one should be afraid of a pig-like teammate. He felt as though he was having the worst of luck of 8 lifetimes combined. He was a great 7-leaf elite. He could have gone wherever he liked. Alas, at this moment, he was like a stray dog. Senior Lu. Who's this old man? Shen Liangshou pointed at Lu Zhou. Hua Chongyang cursed at Shen Liangshou inwardly. You're a fucking elder of the Koryang sect. Although you're on good terms with the Penglai sect, you shouldn't be spouting whatever nonsense that comes to your mind. Lu Zhou looked up. Penglai sect? At this moment, an ancient voice rang from the flying chariot. The Penglai sect is merely passing by. We have no intentions of meddling. That will be best. Lu Zhou felt that it was time to wrap things up. He turned around and flew toward Miss Conk. He landed beside her, as light as a feather. Are you afraid? I'm not. At this moment, Shen Liangshou said, the people from the Hanku and Taishu branch? You're here. Please help us resolve this, senior. That demon lady will plunge the world into chaos. She can't be allowed to live. The people of the Hanku branch kneeled in unison. If they could not have her, it was better to have her killed. That demon lady knows the tongue and tune of beasts. The civilians here can attest to that. The Heaven Worship platform is objective evidence of that. I speak the truth, senior. Please help us resolve this. Their voices reached the flying chariot. A puzzled voice rang from inside the flying chariot. The tongue and tune of beats? Lu Zhou ignored them, preparing to leave. The voice rang from the flying chariot again. What's the hurry, my friend? Lu Zhou stopped his movements and replied, what is it? How can you leave when the matter isn't settled yet? Are you trying to stop me? What if I am? Whiz. With the flying chariot in the center, a bright golden light expanded. Everyone looked up. The flying chariot was now enveloped by a huge avatar. It was 100 feet tall. Under the flying chariot, there was a golden lotus. 8 bright and dazzling leaves were spinning around it. An 8-leaf elite. Good heavens. Hua Chongyang cursed inwardly, fuck. He was certain that they were done for now. Just when everyone was focused on the flying chariot. Whiz. A more intense sound resonated in the air. An avatar rose from Zhou. 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet. 80 feet, 90 feet, 100 feet. Everyone's attention was, naturally, attracted by this sight. Another 8-leaf cultivator. No. 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 That's not an 8-leaf. The avatar continued to grow. 110 feet, 120 feet. 140 feet, 150 feet. 9 leaves spun around the golden lotus under the avatar's feet. A 150-foot avatar faced the 100-foot avatar as well. It was easy to tell which one was superior. No wind blew on the heaven worship platform for 100 meters. It was extremely quiet. The cultivators of the Henku branch and Taishu Academy felt as though their eyeballs were about to pop out from their sockets as they stared at the 150-foot tall avatar. They could not even see its head. They could only see the 9 leaves that were dazzling and eye-catching. The leaves seemed like blades that kept slicing at their hearts. In Great Yan's cultivation world, aside from the legends of elusive experts who lived in seclusion, the experts whom the cultivators respected were 8-leaf experts. Those who were at the 5-leaf stage could be considered grand cultivators. Ever since the start of the Lotus Severing era, the cultivation world was quick to pick it up. Almost everyone severed their lotuses and recultivated for fear of being left behind. The incident of the 7 great sects attacking the evil sky pavilion shocked the entire cultivation world. They were shocked by the appearance of a 9-leaf cultivator. Who could stand against a 9-leaf cultivator? Nobody knew how the evil sky pavilion patriarch, Ji Tiandao, did it. It was a mystery that was unresolved in the cultivation world. However, the 9 leaves could not lie. The Penglai sect's elite in the huge chariot had intended to intimidate Zhou by showing off his avatar so that he could get what he wanted. However, he did not expect the person he wanted to intimidate was a 9-leaf expert. Indeed, an 8-leaf cultivator was powerful. However, in the face of a 9-leaf cultivator, they were as worthless as grass. Hua Chongyang pressed a hand to his chest. He found it difficult to breathe. When he recalled he had exchanged blows with Senior Liu, cold sweat began to bead on his back. If the old senior had been merciless, what would happen to him? 10 seconds were not long, but it was enough to intimidate everyone, including the elite in the huge chariot. After 10 seconds, Zhou's 9-leaf avatar vanished before everyone's eyes. The entire heaven worship platform was deathly silent. The elite inside the flying chariot suddenly realized how rude and stupid he had been. The old senior had withdrawn his avatar, and yet, he was still shamelessly maintaining his laughable 8-leaf avatar. He quickly withdrew his avatar. Who was this old man? Everyone had this thought in mind. They could not help thinking he might be the evil sky pavilion's Ji Tiandao. Some of them were already convinced the old man was the evil sky pavilion's patriarch. Land the chariot. A voice sounded from the flying chariot. The disciples finally reacted and began lowering the flying chariot. As the chariot landed, a deep voice rang from it. Shang Liangshou. Huh? Is this the evil sky pavilion's patriarch? Shen Liangshou was taken aback. He widened his eyes as he looked at the old man again. Compared to Ji Tiandao, this old man looked thinner and livelier. His hair was darker as well. Apart from the fact that they were both old, this old man bore no resemblance to the evil sky pavilion's patriarch at all. Therefore, he did not hesitate as he said, "He's not the evil sky pavilion's patriarch." Are you sure? I guarantee it. I was in close contact with old Senior Ji during the battle at Liang province. I remember his words, actions, voice, and looks. They're all imprinted in my mind. It's impossible for me to mistake him, Shen Liangshou said confidently. Boom. The flying chariot landed on the ground. The disciples left the flying chariot, bowed, and said, "Welcome, sect master." An old man, who seemed slightly weathered, emerged from the flying chariot. The only eye-catching thing about him was the extravagant clothes he wore. His brocade robes were embroidered with green birds and umbrellas. The moment he disembarked from the flying chariot, 2 disciples supported him on each side as he hastened forward. They came to a stop several meters before Lu Zhou. With a slight bow, he said, "Greetings, old senior. I'm Huang Shiji from the Penglai sect." Huang Shiji. Lu Zhou nodded. The Penglai sect seldom meddles with the trivial matters of the cultivation world. Why today? The master of Penglai Island was also the sect master of the Penglai sect. Huang Shiji said, "We were passing by when we encountered a powerful primal chi fluctuation. Hence, we came to take a look. We didn't expect to run into an otherworldly elite here." Lu Zhou remained unmoved. He had heard too many flatteries. At this moment, Shen Liangshou jogged over. He emboldened himself to get as close to them as possible. Then, he flashed a smile and said, "Old senior. How should we address you?" Lu Zhou shifted his gaze to Shang Liangshou. Shang Liangshou was frightened into taking a step back when he felt the pressure from Lu Zhou. "I'm sorry, old senior. How dare a puny little nascent divinity realm weakling ask about a 9-leaf elite's name?" A single look from Lu Zhou sucked out all the courage in him. He no longer dared to speak. Huang Shiji said, "Senior, the Penglai sect has no intentions of becoming enemies with you." "About before. You want me to give you an explanation?" Lu Zhou asked. "We dare not." Huang Shiji looked to his sides. He saw the Taishu Academy and Hankou branch at the far side. He pulled a face, waved his hand, and said, "Execute them now." This order startled everyone. The members of the Taishu Academy and Hankou branch retreated in fright. Huang Shiji knew this was not the time to be merciful. He lowered his voice and said, "What's this? Are my orders of no importance now?" "Yes, sect master." The Penglai sect's first disciple held a black umbrella in his hand. He turned around with killing intent flashing in his eyes. A few other disciples turned as well. 5 of them leaped into the air before they charged at the crowd. For a time, there was a rain of blood. Cries rose and fell. Lu Zhou did not look at them. They deserved this outcome. Besides, their lives and deaths had nothing to do with him. Huang Shiji cupped his fists and said, "Are you satisfied with this, old senior?" "Do your part well," Lu Zhou replied. "Huang Shiji shall follow your instructions, old senior." Huang Shiji bowed. The other disciples bowed as well. Lu Zhou turned his attention away from Huang Shiji. He walked up to Miss Conk. He noticed that she was not at all afraid. In fact, she seemed more curious than anything else. Before Lu Zhou could speak, she said, "I've seen it before." "What have you seen before?" Nine leaves." Miss Conk made a golden lotus shape with her hands. When Lu Zhou heard this, he was shocked. His instincts told him that Miss Conk was not lying. Her eyes were filled with honesty. He did not press further. He found her words slightly frightening. Was it true that he was not the only 9-leaf elite? In the end, he extended his hand to her and said, "Let's go." Miss Conk glanced at him and took his hand. The sun shone on the platform. The beasts of the forest had left. The birds took flight in neat formations toward the setting sun. They were chasing the sunlight. There was still hope. Lu Zhou held Miss Conk's hand in his and turned toward Jing Province City. He looked back and said, "Hua Chongyang." Hua Chongyang shuddered. A great 7-leaf elite was like a small fry today. He made his way through the members of the Penglai sect. When he hurried past Huang Shiji, he did not even have the time to salute him. As Senior Lu. The people from the Penglai sect heard Hua Chongyang's words. So this nine-leaf elite's surname is Lu. At long last, there was another miracle in the cultivation world. Nine-leaf Lu's name will certainly shock the cultivation world. It wasn't my intention to hide my identity, Hua Chongyang stammered. Lu Zhou brushed him off. He walked toward Jing Province City. When he left, Huang Shiji and the others sighed in relief. That was close. However, as the sect master of the Penglai sect master, it was only natural he could not show he was frightened like the others were. Instead, he tried to appear calm as he looked at Lu Zhou's retreating back. Then, he spared the members of the Hanku branch and the Taishu Academy a glance before he said, "Get rid of the roots while cutting the weed. Don't leave anyone alive." Understood.